Welcome into the Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet. Today we have a very special guest joining us. We have Marcedes. How's it going today?
It is so good. How are you?
Doing really well. Doing really well. It's Texas, so we all know what that means. It's very hot right now. So,
Oh
um,
yeah.
excited to have you back on. We had you. Was it 2 years ago that you were out here in Texas, or was it last year that you
It
came
was
into?
yeah, it's going on 2 years now. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. How fast time flies, isn't it?
Yeah. I was sitting here, I was like, surely that was last year, but no, then I went back and looked. I was like, no, that was 2 years ago. So
That's yeah. I've been kind of keeping it close to home a little bit more lately. I kind of needed to take a break from the road for a second so that I could get my mind in order and my heart in order and work on putting songs down. And I wanted to do it in a really um big way. So I needed to take the time for it. And so I've been living in Montana and gigging pretty close to home around here the last year, but I'm really looking forward to putting a tour together in the fall. I'm going to be playing in Nashville, and then we're going to be coming back through Texas, and
nice.
I'm excited.
Nice. And then I think we had talked earlier this year, you'll be doing some music festivals, I think in September, right? That in
I
Wyoming, right?
Yeah, I'll be in a songwriter festival called Yellowstone Songwriter Festival, and that's in Cody, Wyoming, the first weekend of September.
Nice.
And then the second week I'll be actually in Sheridan at what's called Born in a Barn.
Hmm.
And that's more of a like antique arts festival, but they include songwriters in the beer garden and music all day. It's a blast. I love it. And then an album release mid-September, the 19th, 20th, and 21st. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's so awesome. I'm glad you've been staying busy. I've been following you on Instagram and all that stuff. And just when we met about 2 years ago, it was like I really enjoyed what you were doing. And I've been listening to your new song since you sent it to me yesterday because I kind of missed that release announcement because obviously Instagram's just constantly going all the time. But when you told me you had a new
Oh yeah.
single, I immediately checked it out and I was like, okay, yes, this is what I need in my life right now. So, well,
Cool. I'm glad to hear it.
yeah. So, just on the topic of the new single, what's kind of the story behind it? How long have you been working on it?
Well, the whole album has been kind of years in the making, to be honest. It's very much kind of finding love, enjoying love, losing love, and being able to move on from that loss. And all these songs didn't really come together until about, spring last year, and not spring 2024, but spring 2023.
Mhm.
And then, I kind of saw how I wanted the album to look and lay out, and ended up getting in the studio in July with local players and an amazing producer out of Austin, Scott Davis. And we put, the vision together, and it's taken till about now to kind of roll out these songs. And so Crooked Nail is actually a lyric that my beautiful friend Jennifer Schmidt, she sent that to me one day. And it reminded me so much of growing up, in nature with my family. I'm not a big hunter, but they are. And I went on a lot of hunting trips with them. And we went fishing a lot, of course, camping, hiking. And so when I read her lyrics and just how she put it together, that you start in a place and you go all out and then you come back to that place. I thought it was genius and I had to put music to it. And I also like kind of the persona it presents. Like I hang my hat on that same crooked nail on the days when I'm strong and the days when I fail. Like you keep going, you know?
Yep.
Because I mean, life is just it's a bunch of valleys and mountains, and you kind of got to ride out the lows just as much as you enjoy the highs, you know?
Yep. And I think that was like the thing that spoke to me about the song was it because it's a motto it's a similar motto to something that I've recently adopted that your best days are only 24 hours and your worst days are only 24 hours, and it's kind of that same motto where on your good days you hang your coat or your hat or your whatever on the same nail as you do the bad days.
Totally.
So that it was one of those deals where it was like, yes, I totally understand this song right now. So
I like that too. Yeah. They're only 24 hours long. They're only
yes.
24 hours long.
Yep, yep. Oh, and so then you said you've got a new album or a new album coming out right after this. Is this the final single off that album or?
It is, yeah. This it's so I've been releasing a single a month for the last 6 months and or 5 months. And we put Crooked Nail out, kind of doubled up this last month. And the album is dropping September 20th.
Nice, nice. And what's running through your mind right now as you're approaching this finish line?
Uh, there's so much to do. There's so much to do. There's so much to do.
Fair
But
enough.
in a good way, in a good way. I'm excited, I'm grateful. And this is, you know, definitely the best work I've done so far. So
Nice,
I'm glad to be growing.
nice. Now, does going out on on this little run before the release of like the music festivals and whatnot, is that calming your nerves or is that accentuating your nerves
Oh,
as
you
pertaining to
know,
the release of the album?
yeah, I think it's kind of you know, I've been fortunate to build this life and have it build around me. And so it's more of just like, you know, it's a work week and it's, you know, time to go to work, and it's more opportunity to lay groundwork for releasing the album, and letting more people know about it so that it can have some legs. Because, you know, a really good friend of mine, well, Sean Hess out of Wyoming said to me once, he said, you know, if you pay for your records, you're gonna feel a lot more uh you know, ownership and drive with it, and appreciate it more. And with my first record, I mean, I appreciated the hell out of it. I did a Kickstarter and had so many people support me, and I'm so grateful. But there is like a level of like, once you're working every day and going, oh, I'm paying that and that and that, that you kind of go, I gotta make this count even more than I have in the past, you know.
Yep.
Or it's just something like you always want to make all of it count, but um, you know, it's definitely driven me to give it a lot more legs than maybe I've. It's lit a fire under me even more, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think you're just kind of looking at the release strategy behind the album because obviously when you say give it as much legs as you can, that's the major factor in it. Do you release your standard three singles and then put the album out? Do you release a single, put the album out? Do you release them all as singles and then call it an album? And I think kind of where you're at, where with like you said, this is the sixth single, Crooked Nail. I'm trying to do math in my
It
head.
is, yeah.
Yeah. With it doing like six singles and then putting the rest of the project out, I think that kind of gives everybody a good feeling of what the project's going to be. And then once the album
Yeah.
comes out, it's not like, oh, this is a bunch of music we've heard already. Yes, there's songs that we love and we've heard, but now we've got six brand new songs or how many ever are in the rest of the project, and that's it. So,
Yeah. I kind of did something a little different. There's 10 songs on the digital record.
mhm.
But then I'm making physical copies, a small run of CDs for those who still love CDs.
Yeah,
And then I'm gonna do vinyl. And on those handheld copies, there's actually gonna be uh well, I mean, this is, here first. There's a bonus track, and then there's gonna be a hidden track, which I'm
that's
excited about that. Yeah.
that's
So there'll be
I love
12
hidden
on the.
tracks. Hidden
I
tracks are the
do too.
best. So
I do
cool.
too. It's
So
fun.
it it was funny because I found out about hidden tracks about 7 or 8 years ago, like the concept of them. And then I started going through some of the old like CDs and stuff that I had from way back in the day. And I would just kind of like, oh, there's more music on this CD because they would like it would be like at the end, and back in the day you were just like skipping to songs you wanted to hear. Yeah, so
Mhm. Well, and it's fun to craft, a full piece of work, for my first albums, we really we really crafted everything together, but as far as the songs, it was kind of like I had a collection of songs, and they fit together because they came from a certain era of life. And same with this new record, but I would say there was even more intention put into creating almost an arc with the
mm,
album and creating it as a full piece of work.
yeah. For sure, for sure. So, you're leaving here in about 2 weeks to start going on your run of shows and festivals and stuff like that. Um, how often are you playing leading up to that? I know you'd mentioned you got a show tonight and some more upcoming. How often are you playing leading up to the run of shows?
Well, I would say it's probably about 4 days a week, if not more. And Johnny came in. We've played Thursday, Friday. We'll play tonight. We'll do the same thing next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the festivals kick in, and then so the album drops on the 20th, but
Mhm.
something I love about playing up here is I kind of hop and skip between different valleys. And so we're gonna have a show in Livingston, we're gonna have a show in Big Sky, and we're gonna have a show in Gallatin Gateway, which is near Bozeman, and do a string of album release shows with the band that made the record, basically, which is, it's an 8-piece band, which is pretty dang fun. And drums, bass, keys, pedal steel, guitar, and three beautiful backup singers.
Yes. And now that's not how you normally tour, though, is it? Is it mainly just you by yourself when you're like out on the road?
It was just me when I came through that first year, and
Mm,
then this next tour, I'm actually working with some friends. I'm gonna fly into Nashville end of October, and I'm gonna play an animal rescue benefit, which I'm
cool.
excited for,
Nice.
and Honky Tonk Tuesday at the Legion, that I'm very excited for. And then we're kind of touring from there. We're going, you know, we might try to hit North Carolina if we can land something,
Hmm.
or maybe, Memphis or New Orleans, and work our way to Texas, and then we're actually going to go to Arizona to California and then back up. So we're
Oh,
kind of
well.
trying to do coast to coast in the southern hemisphere, and
Yeah,
um but that'll be like duo trio
gotcha.
ish. And uh which, I mean, of course, if I had the means to take an 8-piece band on the road, I would, but
Right.
and do the
Fair
whole
enough.
shebang. But
Fair enough. Fair
yeah,
enough.
takes time to get there.
Yeah, as it pertains to Memphis, if you're still trying to book a place, I'll get you a contact it's not a big, like a big venue, but it's a nice little venue off of Beale Street. Like it's not on Beale Street, but it's nearby. So
Cool. Yeah,
yeah,
I would love that, please.
yeah. I'll get you that information after we jump off here. But no, that's
Cool.
how hard or when you're booking out shows, like obviously this feels like a lengthy like tour that you're working on. Do you like to have the entire tour like booked out from beginning to end, or do you leave yourself some room for like pickup shows, or how do
Fun.
you kind of approach that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's so funny you asked that because I was just talking to Doc Elliott, who's helping me book this tour right now, and um we're gonna try to fill it in as much as we can, but also, leave room for recuperation because we
Hmm.
want to be able to deliver. We don't want to burn ourselves to a crisp. Um, and so, I mean, I'm up for spontaneous things, and I'm also up for planning a little like fun, and the downtime. I think it's there's got to be a balance
Yeah.
so that you can really deliver each time. And it was so funny because we were just in Idaho for Braun Brothers reunion,
Hmm.
and it's Sunday after, and we got invited to a pickin' circle, and we're like, we got to go to this. That'll be
Right.
fun. Well, we show up and they're like, you are the picking circle, and we ended up on a stage and amplified and lights and in the casino club in Stanley, and it was so fun. But we basically played a full-fledged show just on a whim, and it was it was such a good time. We had a blast. My friend Forrest Green played electric, and yeah.
That's cool. It's one of those things where it's like you don't expect it, and it could have gone either way. Where it was like,
Yeah.
but then it just ends up being a good time. That's always cool. So,
Yeah, it
uh,
was really neat. We got home at the end of the evening and we go, wow, didn't see that coming. You wake up in the morning and don't think you're gonna have I mean, because there were probably like 30 people in there totally engaged with us the whole time. And then
nice.
the patrons of the bar were loving it, and they asked us to actually to keep going, but by that time we're like, well, it's like 12:30, almost 1 o'clock. I think I think we're, you
We've
know,
been we've been playing for 3 hours or whatever it is, and yeah.
yeah.
I feel that. I
Yeah, it didn't feel like 3 hours, but it was fun.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like 3 hours in the time, and then you wake up in the morning and it's like, oh yeah, that felt like 3 hours. So
That's exactly right. Slow mornings are kind of a nice thing.
right. That's why people hate coming on the road with me, because it's like those slow mornings, I just don't let them exist, because it's like we got things like if we're out, we got to go. We got things to do. We don't have time to sit here, and we can recoup in the car. Let's go. So it's one of the if I had to do
If
it
I
like
if I have to get up and go, I will.
yeah,
But for the most part, I try that's like, just how somebody has a work day and their evening. It's like my work day starts around, I mean, I'm usually up and on the computer by 8, but
yeah,
not out of the house till about noon.
fair enough. Well, and it's also one of those deals where when I'm out on the road, I've only got X amount of time to be on the road before I got to be back at my day job. So if I've got
That
7
too.
days, we got to get to where we want to go, do what we got to do, and get back. So it's just kind of like there's no room
Mhm.
for mistakes. So,
Yeah, yeah, you gotta. Well, and that's kind of true for me too. I am working a job
mhm.
right now, and it's just a couple days a week right now, and then I usually pick it up in the winter time just to supplement, and
Yeah,
they're just amazing. I work at a spa in Bozeman called Ceremony,
yeah,
and these gals they've worked with me on my music schedule, and it's been so, so great, and I'm so grateful. But yeah, I mean, I can only take off, I think it's gonna wind up being maybe about a 2.5 week, 3 week tour.
yeah.
And then I get back and have about 3 days to, get my ducks in a row and
Right,
go.
right.
Factoring it in.
Right. Fair enough. I'm actually working on a live podcast, like doing it in front of an audience and stuff. That'll
Oh,
be we're
cool.
shooting for next summer, and it's like I've got like a 10-day block that I can take off. And it's like, okay,
Hmm.
how do I optimize this so we're not wasting time driving nonsensically? And so I'm sitting here just like
Yeah.
every night mapping out a different route. Like, oh, but I really want to hit this area. Okay, but yeah. And so it's one of those things that's very interesting to me as far as like booking out tours right now. So
Hmm.
it's
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, and you can't forget about drive time
yep,
because if you forget and you book yourself real tight, you're like, "Oh crap, I have to get up at 4 a.m.
right.
so that I can get there by, 3 and sound checks at 4,"
Yep.
or
Yep.
something like that. And
And it's
it's
like
got to be super quick.
right now the two pillar shows I have, they're about 6 days apart from each other. One's in Tucson and one's in Nashville, and it's like, okay, how do I fill in the gap between Tucson and Nashville over the course of like 4 days? So
Hmm. Hmm.
it it'll be an experience. Like, I mean, luckily, I
Love it. Fort
I
Worth.
love to drive and I love to
Cool.
travel, but at the end of this, it's going to be like, okay, that was a little bit much. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
awesome. So what have you been? Obviously, you mentioned that you've been really busy with like shows and obviously the promotion of the new single and the upcoming album and all that fun stuff. What have you been doing outside of music just to kind of relax and decompress?
Well, I love plants, and so I did a lot of gardening this year.
That's
So I've got wildflowers blooming and tomatoes kind of starting to come on the vine. Hopefully they ripen soon. My squash plant's huge. Hanging out with my pup,
yep.
Melody. She's 11
Oh
now.
wow, yeah,
She's too old for me. She's like, rewind that crap, you know?
right,
And I mean, I squeeze in hikes and go to the river and my brother got married this year and that
nice.
was that was a beautiful day and um yeah, I kind of find moments and time, to sit and take life in for a minute.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Before it's off to the next thing, yeah.
Yeah, sweet. I will say about your dog, Melody, she is
Hmm.
the chillest dog that I've ever had sit in on a podcast,
Look at her. Look at her right now.
right? And that's about how she was when you came in for the podcast a couple years ago. So once she
I
got
know.
you,
It was so funny.
good.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I said once I sat down to do this, this is literally what she did. She just came and laid down.
Yep. And that's pretty much what happened when you came through here. She ran around the house a little bit just to figure out what was going on, and then she was like on the couch or something, and it was like, cool, it's chill.
Yeah,
So
she's my bestie.
nice, nice. And will she be going on tour with you this fall, or will she stay home?
Unfortunately, I think she's a bit retired from the road. It's a little rough on her being 11, and I have these amazing friends in Chalice,
Hmm,
and they offered to take her. I need to, well, they offered to take her anytime. I need to talk to them about the actual time and how long, but I'm hoping that can work out because they've got three old dogs and they live on some acreage and there's like a creek and so she can go be a dog while I'm running the roads for a little bit because it gets to be a lot for her
fair enough.
nowadays.
Fair enough. She can go be a dog while you go be a musician, and then you come back together in a few weeks and be good to
Oh
go.
yeah, I'm gonna miss her a lot, but yes.
For sure, for sure. But I really appreciate your time. I don't want to keep you too much longer here. For anybody that wants to check out your music any of your upcoming shows, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
I mean, I would say my website gets you kind of everywhere, which is just marcedescarroll.com. Marcedes. Carroll has two R's and two L's.
It's awesome. Well, Mercedes, it's been an absolute blast. One thing I want to do before we leave, though, what's one piece of advice you have for the young musicians out there?
Don't stop.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
I
you just have to keep going and,
I
well, the
think
bad days are only 24 hours.
yep, fair enough. I was gonna say I feel like a band wrote a song about "Don't Stop Believing" or something. I don't. I was
I
searching for the joke
I
there.
might have heard that song before. You never know.
Right, right, right. But
Yeah, just don't quit. Just keep going.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But Mercedes, I really appreciate your time. It's been an absolute blast. I always enjoy chatting with you. When you come back through Texas, please let me know. We will have to try and either I'll catch a show or whatever's going on. But always enjoy our time together. I want to thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch y'all later.
Thank you so much for having me again.